What's up, guys? Jason of New Age Revolution down here in the cave for a, I don't know, something I thought of the other day. I'm feeling LJN nostalgic, and you know when we're feeling LJN nostalgic, we talk about LJN Wrestling Superstar figures, the greatest toy line in the history of toys, according to me. And according to many of you who watch this channel. In fact, we just talked about hats the other day. I need an LJN hat. Yeah, I need an LJN trucker style hat. I got to do that. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Anyway, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to do just, you know, look, we did the very first, you know, real thing we did on this channel was we went through every single LJN figure and talked about them and all that, and we you know, we did that with the Bendies, we did it with the AWA guys, the Hasbros at the time. We went through each figure and talked about them, and really that's how this channel got established. Was through the LJNs. And then from there, we've messed around with a whole bunch of other stuff. We did my top 10 favorite, my top 10 least favorite. We tried this PACW thing. We did the tournament, my favorite LJN tournament, which was cool. And now I'm like, you know what? Let's just talk memories. Let's just talk memories. So this is going to be memories of LJN Wrestling Superstars. Episode 1. Yeah, episode 1. And, you know, each time I come down here to talk about LJNs, hopefully we'll have a new tale, a new story. There are so many stories. There are so much imagination and adventure that I guess you could call them storylines. So much stuff to talk about. If I can really just crank the brain, you know, rip the vault open and really get into memories and really pull memories, and just talk about the LJNs. Let's just talk about the LJNs, right? Let's see where it goes. So, of course, episode 1 of Memories of LJN. And I guess a few of these early stories I'll have told before. You know, the long-time watchers of the channel will know these stories, but some of the new folks won't. Maybe they're hearing them for the first time. But the folks who are here new, look, these guys behind me, the WWF LJN Wrestling Superstars figures, you know, from 85 to 89. To me, obviously I just said the greatest toy line of all time, but really gave me the greatest childhood memories when it came to toys and play. Look, you know, there isn't a kid that had a better time on the planet than me playing with these guys. They dominated my childhood play. These figures behind me dominated my childhood play, and by dominated I mean there was nobody close to second. There was no other toy line, no other game, video games, nothing compared to the amount of time I invested in these figures behind me. So you know, I want to be able to have as clear of memories as possible. But I don't remember when I first even knew these things existed. Okay, there's a lot of talk about 84, 85. Well, now I know that these figures were probably starting to get produced in 1984 because there's some trademark dates or, you know, production dates on the back of the figures that say 1984. So I think these figures started to become produced in 1984 and then released in 1985. So 1984, we can't say I knew anything about them. I'm also watching the WWF I'm almost done with 1984. In fact, I'm pretty much at the end of December. You know that from watching Wrestling with the Past. And there hasn't been a mention. There hasn't been a commercial. There hasn't been any talk of these LJN Wrestling Superstars. But they are in production at this time. They have been created and discussed and planned and blah, blah, blah. And they're on their way. They're on their way. For first or second quarter of 1985. But to sit here and say, okay, I remember when I first saw the LJN Wrestling Superstars commercial, I can't say that. I wish I could. But when I do get into 1985 WWF, and I have it all, I have all the house shows and the television shows and the TNTs and whatever, there should be some indication of when these things first started making their appearance known to the public, whether it be through a commercial, whether it be we see somebody in the crowd that's holding up an LJN figure, which happens, it does happen. We're going to get an idea. So then I'm going to get an idea. I'm going to get an idea date-wise when these things first entered my life. Again, I wish I could tell you when I saw the LJN commercial for the first time, but I can't. Regardless of when I saw it for the first time, seeing it was life-changing, right? Seeing the LJN Wrestling Superstars commercial, and I wish I could play. I've played it for you before, but it keeps getting copyrighted. So I don't know. I'll try to throw it up. I'll try to look for one that doesn't have any actual WWF footage. We'll see. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just throw up some stills from the commercial. Who knows? We've all seen it a million times. But I know that seeing it was massive. And the first commercial had the first five guys. Hogan, Andre, Big John Studd, Iron Sheik, and Jimmy Snuka. And they were all in that commercial. Right? We've got Jimmy Snuka jumping off the top of the stairs onto somebody. We've got Hogan and Studd going at it in somebody's living room. You know, it's just great. Iron Sheik is there. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's like it's filmed in a living room, you know. And that wasn't even the Bring Home All the Action. That was next. Bring Home All the Action was the second commercial. This one was just Vince McMahon's voice going, you know, new LJN Wrestling Superstars, bring home all the action into your home, and blah, 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 blah. No song, no catchy jingle yet, you know, just Vince. And boy, oh boy, you know, was that, you know, again, memory is not 100% certain, but I don't remember seeing the LJN commercials during just your standard Saturday morning cartoons. I don't remember seeing it during the week at all. I only remember seeing it during wrestling. So, you know, not that I needed any other reason to tune into wrestling on a Saturday morning, but I was especially tuned in waiting to see the LJN commercial. And it was so important to me that I had my tape recorder, my little mini boombox, ready to go with a blank tape, setting it up near the TV, and then basically getting ready to pounce on the record button when that commercial first popped up, because I wanted to record, I wanted to audio record the commercial. And I did. I was successful at it. And had that for a while too. Would just listen to that over and over again for some reason. So then came time to actually want the figures. Now, I never ever saw these figures in stores before I got them. Now, that's not, you know, as an adult who can, you know, pretty much go to the store whenever the heck he wants. Not seeing them in stores in 1985 is not unheard of. Why? Because we didn't go anywhere. We didn't go to any stores. You know, we just didn't. You know, when were we going to stores? So I didn't know. I didn't know that they were out. I didn't know when they were out. I didn't know where they were. I had no idea. I had no clue. But I knew that they existed because of the commercial. So it was one night, and again, I've told this story before, but hey, we're beginning at day one. We're beginning at topic number one, the beginning of it all, right? As far as LJN goes, I was sitting in my room, and now what I've done for you is I have pulled some photos of my childhood home. The house was sold maybe 8 years ago, 6 years ago or so, and the photos went up on Zillow or whatever. And here's a picture of my bedroom. Now, it's obviously modernized a bit, but you can see that shelf that goes along the wall. That was a built-in shelf, or it was a wall that had a ledge, right? So that's where a lot of knickknacks and doodads and toys sat. They sat on that ledge. So anyway, at 8 years old, I spent a lot of time in that room. I think maybe like most 8-year-olds did at the time. I would entertain myself in that room. And I remember the number one thing I would do in that room is record my own voice on cassette and listen to it back. That's all. Just talking, saying stuff, stop, rewind, play it, listen to it, it's me, and do it again. That's what I would do. So if memory serves me correctly, I was in that room. I was sitting on the floor, I was hanging out, doing whatever an 8-year-old does, and with the TV on, of course, because I had a cable television in my room, which most of you all know that. And for some reason, my mom was out shopping. And I don't know where, why, I don't know when, I don't know if it was summer. It was definitely, wow, it had to be April, May. Okay, it had to have been within the first month or two that these figures were released. Because it felt like ages before I got the next batch, and that next batch was Christmas '85. My parents were still married, so this is definitely like mid to early '85. And because they got divorced, they got separated around Christmas. Good timing, parents. Good timing. I'm sitting in my room, and my mother comes home from shopping. It's nighttime. And she has a bag. I want to say it's Gold Circle. But, I mean, if we look back through the history of LJN, I don't even know if LJNs were sold at Gold Circle, the first run of them. I don't know. Whatever. But my brain says it was Gold Circle, this old discount chain, like a Walmart. She comes in with this Gold Circle bag, and it's got 2 LJN figures in it. It's got Hulk Hogan, and it's got Andre the Giant, right? These were my first 2 LJN Wrestling Superstars figures, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. And at the time, since it was such an early run, this is what the backs looked like. So I immediately fantasized about having these other 3 figures to complete the run. And let me tell you, this packaging has been, just locked into my brain since that random day in 1985. Locked in my brain. And, the first thing that you would do is you would get this card is destroyed, by the way, but you would get this poster out and you would hang it on your wall. And in the process of hanging it on the wall, you would destroy it because you'd either put tape on it or you'd put thumbtacks on it and destroy it, but you'd hang the poster on your wall. And then I would cut out the card. I would cut out the bio card. And I would set the wrestler, because I only had 2, I would set them on that ledge in my room that you saw in the photo. I would set them there with the bio card in front of them and the poster hanging underneath them, right? I mean, there's only going to be 5 figures, right? So, of course, I can do that with all 5 figures. I only have 2 at the time. So I get these 2, and I'm ecstatic. And from looking at the back of the package, the next one that I had to have was Big John Studd. I just thought that he was the best figure in the world at the time. Didn't get him for quite a while. So now let's say that this is April, May. Okay, let's say it's April, May. I don't get another one until Christmas of 85. I don't get another one until Christmas 85. And as a parent today, that kind of blows my mind because I'm such a huge wrestling fan in 85. I've got these two figures, two good guys, by the way. Thanks, Mom. I've got these two figures. There's only 3 more left in the line. Why didn't anybody go get them for me? They're only $7.99 by the way. They're $7.99. $7.99. I don't care inflation, deflation, whatever inflation. It's $7.99. In today's world, you've seen me hunt down all of my stuff for my children and get them for them before they can even blink. Right? Is that a problem? Maybe. Is it a good thing? Maybe. I don't know. I don't care. It's what I'm doing. But I didn't get another figure until Christmas of 85. So I would play with Hogan and Andre. And in 1985, okay, a 9-year-old cannot make a 9-year-old just doesn't have it within themselves to make Hogan a good guy and Andre a bad guy, or vice versa. I couldn't do that. I wasn't ready to write storylines at 9 years old of Andre turning bad on Hogan. I couldn't do it. So I would do the dumbest thing in the world, and maybe the most creative thing in the world. I would have Hulk Hogan was Barry Windham, Andre the Giant was Mike Rotundo. And then on the other team, Hulk Hogan was Greg Valentine, and Andre the Giant was Brutus Beefcake. And so, hang on. Whenever Barry Windham was in the ring, he was taking on Brutus Beefcake, Hogan, Andre. If Hogan would team out, or if Barry Windham would tag out to Mike Rotundo, then Andre became Mike Rotundo, and Hogan became Greg Valentine. And that's how I kept myself entertained until I got more figures. Did I have the Sling 'em Fling 'em wrestling ring? No, I did not have that until Christmas 85. Or maybe even later. No, Christmas 85. I did not have the Sling 'em Fling 'em ring for a while. So it was just the floor. I would just wrestle with them on the floor. That's it. Sometimes I would turn over a laundry basket, a rectangle laundry basket, and I would play on that. Sometimes I would take the square couch cushions off the couch, and I would play that as my ring. But I never had a bootleg makeshift ring for the LJNs, anyways. And so I would use the floor, a laundry basket, a pillow, the bed. I did a lot of wrestling just in the bed, just playing with them. If I'm laying in bed at night or whatever. And the love affair began. The addiction absolutely began. And from then until Christmas, the LJN commercial changed a little bit and showed a few more different figures. I think the WWF magazine was showing off some different figures. I really don't remember how I knew who else was going to be in Series 1. I'm pretty sure the WWF magazine catalog told me that. But or TNT, Tuesday Night Titans started having the wrestlers, the LJN figures, on the coffee table, on the set of TNT. And so I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, wait, who is that? And when when my father was recording TNT on VHS, I would pause it to try to see who's in the ring. Oh my God, who is that? Junkyard Dog, wow. So that's how it all began. And that's that. So that's how they became part of my life. Sorry. LJNs excite me so much I choke on my own saliva. Okay, so that's how I got the first two. The next installment here is going to be Christmas '85, '85, when I got a bag of wrestlers that were already loose. They were already taken out of the card. What? What happened there? I'll tell you all about that on the second episode. Let's have some fun with memories of LJN figures. We'll see you in a little bit. Good night now.